And then along the way, right, as I was attending these retreats and going to sanghas like this, I started to hear what I would say is the umbrella teaching of Thich Nhat Hanh. The wind in the sail taking you to the other shore. And it was the practice of Sangha, of exactly what we're doing right now. Buddhism is often spoken of as, in its totality, as being able to be described as three precious jewels. Right? The first jewel is the notion of Buddha, which means one who is awake, and may or may not have been a historical figure. In my opinion, that really doesn't matter, because we're not meant to worship him or anything like that. It's more of an idea, right? The word Buddha means one who is awake, right? One who is awake. And so that first jewel is reminding us that every single one of us inside has the capacity to be awake, right? To be paying attention in a loving way, in a way that we're learning, instead of just looping, and repeating often painful and imprisoning habits and cycles. And then the second jewel is the word Dharma. And that word has three definitions. The Dharma means all of the teachings, right? The whole canon, everything. The Dharma also means the path of practice, right? Living a life adhering to and exploring those teachings. But the word Dharma also means the whole cosmos, everything. So that one word means all three of those things. And that's the second jewel. And then the third jewel of our practice is Sangha. And sometimes that word, which is from the Sanskrit, is translated as community. But as those of you who've been to Sangha Ocean Beach before know, I like to translate that word as family. If we're practicing together, trying to understand and love ourselves and each other, then we are practicing as a family. And Thai has been very clear over and over again that the most important of the three jewels, the most precious of the three jewels, is the Sangha. I'll tell you one story and then I'll wrap up because I want to leave time for your own sharing. I really want to hear from all of you. But because the holidays just passed, I was reflecting on my first Christmas as a practitioner in the Plum Village Tradition. So I was raised Roman Catholic, and I didn't connect in a lot of ways with the way that religion was presented to me as a child and the way my parents were practicing it. My dad was from Ireland and my mom is from Ecuador, so a lot of Catholic stuff going on. And so Christmas was never my favorite holiday, actually, because it had a lot of stuff going on that I wasn't 100% connected to. And so when I heard that the Plum Village Tradition had what they call a holiday retreat, like a retreat over Christmas and New Year's, I thought to myself, perfect, like, I'm just going to skip Christmas this year. I'm going to go to the monastery, and I don't know what we're going to do. I don't care. I'm just not going to be in New York City. I'm not going to, deal with the presents and the drinking and all these things I didn't want. All these things that I saw as an unnatural pressure. But as you can hear, right, in my description, I wasn't exactly happy, right? It wasn't a choice from a positive place entirely. It was a bit of me running away from something that I found to be negative and that was depressing me. And so I landed at the monastery in that place, kind of bah humbug, thinking, great, it's a Buddhist monastery. There'll be nothing Christmas about it. And so I get out of the cab. This was back when the East Coast Monastery was in Vermont. And a monk in a Santa hat on his shaved head comes running over to me and is like, oh, Brother Dave, I'm so happy you're here. And he's got a hammer and a stack of Christmas lights. And he's like, can you help me? we're decorating, and I was like, what? So the next thing I knew, I put my bag down and I'm up a ladder, like hanging Christmas lights outside the meditation hall. And everywhere I turned, it was, there was caroling going on. There was celebration. There was feasting. There was even like a secret Santa gift exchange. It was insanely celebratory. And I was mortified. This is exactly what I was trying to avoid. So I ended up in my room, just like hiding, basically, like sitting on the edge of my bed, like just pissed, And one of my roommates I'm friends with to this day, was in the exact same position, right? And had come to the monastery for the same reasons I had, trying to escape the holiday, and had been, handed a glass of non-alcoholic vegan eggnog. So two of us kind of looked at each other across the room and just commiserated, we were like, oh God, like, this is horrible. And he was like, I know. We just looked at each other and just resigned ourselves to it. We were like, well, I guess we're just going to have to go out there and have fun. And that's exactly what we did. That's exactly what we did. And not that I didn't have mixed feelings, and not that I enjoyed every instant after that conversation, but generally I gave in, and I had fun. And this is just one aspect of how important Sangha is. Like, we can't do it alone. Now, alone we get stuck in whatever thought we're having that's causing us the most pain. And we just chew on it. We put it in the fridge. We go back to the fridge in the middle of the night. We chew on it again. This is hardwired in. We need the Sangha to break us of our patterns, to open things up, to hold up the mirror and show us the thing we can't see, to bolster us and support us when we're at our lowest, to give us a really healthy, wholesome place to put our energy and our love when we're doing really well and have the capacity to serve others. We're a social animal. We're a tribal animal. We need this. And Thich Nhat Hanh knew that. He knew that very deeply, and he taught that in 1,000 different ways.